Okay, I hope all are back after a small break. So this is the question here. A combination of parallel plate capacitor is maintained certain potential difference. When a thin, this is what is given. So a slab is introduced. In order to maintain same potential difference, distance between plate is increased by 2.5 mm. Find the dielectric constant of the slab. So think of it, what is necessary condition for same potential difference? See, but what it says here, see, suppose this point A and B are connected to, and some way we maintain a potential difference of B. If we have potential difference V, we can easily notice all are connected in parallel. So all are also have same potential V here. Okay. So basically, in order to maintain same potential difference, what has to happen here? If V has to remain same, basically, capacitance also has to remain same. This question is based on if V is same, capacitance also has to remain same. Or I will just solve this question in slightly different way so that you understand another way of solving that question. See, earlier, let's see that how the plates work. So let's see that one. And it's a parallel plate capacitor. Let's assume the distance between plate is equal to D here. This is the initial position. So what would the potential difference be? Potential difference is okay. So it will be equal to potential difference will be equal to E into D. So this question again, some of you look at this, you may find there's a bit of confusion. See, but irrespective of what you do, potential will always remain same as long as battery is connected. So this bit of uh, still this question also slightly confusing. But what this question implies is either we have to take the capacitance as same, or if potential has to same, let me do other way also. What has happened here? This is capacitor earlier. This is the spacing. We place a dielectric slab. Of what thickness? We place a dielectric slab of thickness of 3 mm, and 3 mm is not necessarily the thickness between distance between the plates. So let me put a dielectric slab here. So we put a dielectric slab of thickness of 3 mm, and this dielectric slab had dielectric constant K, which we need to find here. So this is 3 mm, and it has a dielectric constant of K. If now, unless we change the spacing between the plate, this space would have been D minus 3 mm. But we further increase the spacing by 2.4 mm. So what is the remaining thickness between the plates now? This will become D minus 3 plus 2.4. That's the remaining thickness. So this is equal to remaining part of thickness is D minus 0.6 millimeter. So there's 3 millimeter of dielectric slab or D minus 6 millimeter of air medium. If potential has to remain same, E into D has to be equal to E into D minus 6 plus E by K into 3. What we have done, we have calculated potential difference in terms of field and distance. So this is the equation I can form here. And from this equation, I equated the potential in terms of field here, and we can find the value of K. Okay, now let's understand some question which involves loss of energy and all. So let's look at this question. There are 3 4 parts. Let's do all parts here one by one. All switches are closed. Okay, when switches are closed here, find the charge flow of the battery, energy supplied by the battery, a potential across capacitor, heat dissipated. So when I close the switch here, each part, what is the charge flow through the battery? How do we calculate charge flow? First part, charge flow Q is equal to V into C equivalent. That's the charge which will flow from the battery. So if we can think of this charge one side, this much charge is going out, and other side same charge is coming in. So we can easily calculate charge flow. Charge flow will be equal to V, and C equivalent in this case is equal to 2C by 3. That's the charge which will flow on the battery. Correct. We have done that one. Next question comes, what is the energy supplied by the battery? So we should recall what is the energy supplied by the battery here. Energy supplied by the battery is charge flow Q into EMF of the battery, which is V here. This is the energy supplied. And this energy comes like external energy. This comes from chemical energy stored in the battery, gets converted in form of electrical energy. So we can write that also. So 2C by 3 into V square. This is the energy supplied by the battery. We have done second part also. What is potential difference across the capacitors? Potential difference across the capacitor, V is equal to Q by C, inverse proportion. So we divide V by 3 and V by 3 will be here and 2V by V3 will be here. And that's why when you multiply potential into charge, charge will be same in both cases. They are connected in series. So we can find the potential difference. How do we calculate heat dissipated here? So third part, we have to calculate what is the heat dissipated here. And heat dissipation, how do we calculate and what is the basic principle behind heat dissipation? See, if I look at the entire thing here, see, we typically make use of something like this. In case of mechanics also, we write work done by non-conservative force is equal to change of potential energy plus change in kinetic energy. And this comes from some other sources. So if I extend same logic here, in this case, there's no change in kinetic energy. This term means what is the extra input of energy system is receiving here, and what is the loss of energy here. So when I look at this, where is the extra energy coming from, and where is the loss of energy, and where is the potential energy? Can we relate all three terms here? One part we have already mentioned, energy input here in this case. The three forms of energy in the circuit. One is P stored in the potential energy stored in the capacitor, which can easily calculate. And what is the addition of energy? Whenever battery supplies charge here, battery inputs energy into the system, and external energy supplied the batteries Q into V. This energy is supplied to the circuit when charge flow is from negative to positive plate. And it could also be negative when battery is getting charged. Charge flows from positive plate to negative plate. Then this energy supplied becomes negative. And third is loss of energy and loss of heat dissipated in lead wire. And what is the equation we can use? Heat supply energy supplied by battery minus heat loss is equal to change in potential energy. And see this energy equation, this relationship is not too different from this terms here. So when we have to get heat dissipated here, we don't have I term and all. We cannot calculate heat dissipated because resistance is not given. Resistance of lead wire is not given. Heat dissipated can only be calculated. Heat dissipated will be equal to what? Just we can calculate from this relationship. So energy supplied by battery plus heat dissipated, which is negative form of energy, is equal to change of potential. So basically, what is the heat dissipated? Heat dissipated is equal to energy supplied by the battery. Partly it is utilized for increasing potential energy. Remaining part is dissipated. So heat dissipated is energy supplied by the battery. This is something you can understand in this form. Heat dissipated is energy supplied by battery minus increase in potential energy. That is, remaining part is lost. That part is heat dissipated. So can we calculate heat dissipated in this part here? We have calculated this energy supplied by the battery. I am doing it for detailed calculation. So energy supplied by battery is what here? In this is energy supplied by battery. What is energy stored in capacitor? Either I can calculate energy stored in each capacitor separately, or I can easily calculate, I can replace this two capacitor with equivalent capacitor and calculate energy stored in equivalent capacitor. So there are two ways. Either I can calculate potential energy stored in capacitor C plus potential energy stored in capacitor C, or you can calculate potential energy stored in equivalent capacitance. Equivalent capacitance voltage is V and capacitance is 2C by 3. So equivalent capacitance, it will be equal to 1 by 2 CV square. Equivalent capacitance, that will be equal to 1 by 2, and C is equal to 2C by 3 into V square. And very easily what we notice, energy is stored, half the energy, it is half of energy supplied by the battery. So of loss of energy in form of heat dissipation is equal to, either we can say is equal to potential energy stored in the capacitor or half the energy supplied by the battery. This is true only when from initial state to final state, initial will no charge. This is not valid in all cases, half the energy supplied by battery. Now let's do second part here. What does second part means? This is I hope we have understood first part. So loss of or heat dissipation is energy supplied by battery minus increase in potential energy. And this equation we can make use of in several cases where such things are involved. Now, if so, what has happened? Okay, this was the initial state, switch was closed. If a dielectric slab of K is equal to K is inserted completely between plates of capacitor C. So we have inserted a dielectric slab of K is equal to 2. So moment is insert a dielectric slab, the whole curved circuit will change again. So when this is done, what is in this case, as the dielectric slab is inserted, can we calculate what is the additional charge flow from the battery? Will the charge flow out of the battery or charge will flow into the battery? Can we calculate that part? First part, what is delta Q as the slab is inserted? Then we also calculate as the slab is inserted, as the dielectric slab is inserted. What is extra work done by the battery? Can we calculate extra work done by the battery also? That also simple. How do we do that part? We understood initially. So whenever delta Q is involved, additional charge flow, there's an initial circuit and there's a final circuit. In case of initial circuit, equivalent capacitance was equal to 2C by 3. And final state, when we state a dielectric slab here, this also becomes 2C, this also is 2C. C equivalent has become equal to C. So in this case, initial state, what was equal to charge, what was the charge in the whole system? The charge was equal to C equivalent into V. It was equal to 2C by 3 into V. Now it becomes equal to C into V. So what is the additional charge flow from the battery? That will be equal to final charge minus the initial charge. Final charge is CV minus 2CV by 3. That will be equal to, we can calculate, that is equal to 1 by 2, 1 by 3 CV. Thus, additional charge will flow as we insert the dielectric slab here. And what will be the additional work done by the battery? This additional charge flow into V will be additional energy supplied by the battery. Okay. So this is what will happen here. Now, after insertion of slab, if dielectric is taken out, so again we restore to the initial state. And when the dielectric is taken out, what will be the charge flow? In that case, charge flow will be in the reverse direction. So when battery is inserted, sorry, when dielectric is inserted, what is charge flow? Charge flow, additional charge will come from the battery, and this dq was equal to CV by 3. As again I remove the dielectric slab, reverse will happen. In that case, charge will flow into the battery. So when we take the dielectric slab out, actually energy is being stored in the battery. Okay, and pulled apart assembly gap is doubled. So rather than, so again we restore to original position. So when we restore to original position, let's see what will happen. So again I remove all this part here. If earlier spacing was D, so we have first inserted and taken out, come to still state. If we increase the separation by a distance, we double the distance. Gap is doubled. We make the gap as 2D. If we make the gap as 2D, what are things we can relevant we can calculate? We can again calculate what is the charge flow from the battery. Can we all calculate this part here? What is charge flow as we increase the separation? One part. What is the energy supplied by the battery? Second part. What is the work done by the external agent as we increase the separation? And what is the heat dissipation? Can we calculate all these four parts here? And let's do one by one. What will the charge flow? So as we increase separation from D to 2D, what will the additional charge flow? How would you calculate additional charge flow? Initial charge we know was equal to 2 CV by 3. What happens we make the separation double? The capacitance will change. C is equal to A epsilon naught by D here. When we double the separation here, this capacitance will become half. So when we pull it apart to distance 2D, it is equivalent to making it to C by 2. So when we make it C by 2, in final circuit, C equivalent will change. C equivalent will become equal to C1 into C2 divided by C1 plus C2. It will become C by 2 into C divided by 5C by 2. So that will equal to 2C by 5. So this capacitance has decreased here. So what would be final charge now? Final charge will be equal to C equivalent into V. That becomes 2 CV by 5. So what is charge flow delta Q? Final charge minus initial charge. That will equal to 2 CV by 5 minus 2 CV by 3. What is that equal to? 15. What does minus indicate here? What does minus term indicate here? Jaideep, can you tell me, have you understood what does the minus term indicate here?
Yes, sir.
What does this indicate? Why is this term minus? And what is significance of this negative term here?
Like charge has flown into the battery.
Charge is flowing into the battery. So if I have to mark as I am pulling this plate across, I will see the charge flow in the reverse direction. Charge will flow into the battery. Okay. Now, can you calculate here what will be the work done? Can you calculate what will be the work done to pull this plate apart by additional distance D? Can you calculate work done, Jaydeep?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what is the work done? How do you
The
calculate
work done by the
external agent here? Let's see,
yes,
we
sir.
require some force to pull it apart. So we are doing some work here. That's the additional input to the system. What is the work done here? Can you tell what is the work done here? How would you calculate work done? By external agent. Suppose we have to pull it apart. You have to apply force like this. How much force you apply? You have to pull it apart slowly. You have to apply a force, external force, which is equivalent to what? So I have to, work done will be F external into displacement, and external force is equal to force of attraction. And what is force of attraction between plates of the capacitor? Do we remember what is the force of attraction between the plates of capacitor? Force
Q
of
square by 2
attraction.
epsilon.
No, Q square by 2 epsilon. So this into D. So that becomes my work done. So I can calculate work done here. So this will be work done, additional work done here, so can be calculated. What would be work done by the battery here? Can we calculate what is the work done by battery here? Yes, Vignesh, can you tell? Yes, Vignesh, what is the question?
Here the charge is not constant, right, sir? I mean, how can we do it this way?
Okay. Yes, very valid question. In this case, yeah, sorry, this is my mistake here. Is the force constant? If we have to calculate here, can we calculate force done here? See, if this goes, okay, yes, correct. This I cannot calculate work done like this. Only way work would have been calculated when that is taken off, C apart, gap is doubled. So only if I say here, if battery is removed. If battery is removed, then only I could have calculated. Battery calculate, the charge has to be constant. If charge is not constant here, can we still calculate work done here?
So can we say change in potential energy is the work done?
No, I just coming to one by one. So if in this case, can we calculate work done? Change in potential energy is equal to work done. Can we say that? Is that work done is only going into change in potential energy? Can we say so? Think of it and tell me what. See, how do we, can we say that we know what is the change in potential energy here, but is this change in potential energy only due to work done by external force or some other reason also? Is that is delta U change in potential energy? Can we say is equal to work done by external force? We cannot say. Why can't we say? The potential energy, there's other things also happening. What are other elements which are present here? Yes, there's some energy, part of energy is going into the battery also. So when we are doing work, what is the effect of work done? If we do work, which are the different forms of work? Where does this work, all this work can go? Can you think of what are the various ways work can go? What could be the result of this work done?
It also includes the heat dissipation.
Yes, it is a work. If we do let down, one part is heat dissipation. Because whenever there's a charge motion, there's heat dissipation. That's all. Anything else?
And energy is stored in the battery.
Energy stored in battery also. Some part may also go into energy stored in the battery. And then that's all.
So energy can be stored in the other capacitor as well, right?
Yes. It also includes delta P. That's the three parts it will go into. So sum of energy, both the change in potential energy in both, plus heat energy stored in the battery, plus heat dissipation. That would be the total effect of the work done here. So this is when battery is connected, this also can happen. All this, and out of this, can all three parts be calculated or not? Which part be calculated, which part cannot be calculated? This can be calculated. And as we change it, we can calculate this part. In both cases, final charge is known. This can be calculated. What is energy stored in battery? Charge flow can be calculated. Can this be calculated here? Is it possible to calculate heat dissipation in this case? It is not possible. In all cases, when we talk about heat dissipation, resistance is not given. So we cannot calculate in this case. So this particular case, can we calculate work done when battery is connected? Actually, in this case, we will not be able to calculate. We cannot use this condition. Heat dissipation cannot be calculated. Okay. But as a okay. So can we calculate this part? No, this cannot be calculated. Okay. So but as far as any changes are concerned, so I hope we understand what are the effects of this. Suppose we change this question slightly. What are the way we can calculate here? Let's change this question a little bit. If I say here, dielectric is taken out and battery is removed. So this dielectric is taken out, that is taken out and battery disconnected. Can we calculate, still can we calculate the work done by the external force? Still, is it possible? Not possible. If we increase the separation. Can we calculate work done? When dielectric is taken out and battery is disconnected. Can we calculate work done? Aviru, can you tell me, can we calculate work done if battery is taken up, battery is removed and dielectric is taken out? So dielectric is taken out, battery is removed. But two capacitors are connected, both are charged. What is charge they have? We already calculate what the charge is. This will have a charge of, both will have charge equal to 2 CV/3. If we pull this plate apart by additional distance d, can we calculate work done? Aviru, you have any idea what will happen? Vignesh, what will happen if we pull these plates apart? Can you think of what would happen?
Are the two capacitors again connected like in a closed loop?
No, but battery is disconnected. So is there a closed loop now?
No, sir. But charge can still flow between those two isolated.
Okay, that's the point I was coming to. So if this circuit is not there, can the charge on these two capacitors change? So they are like this. So this has charge plus 2 CV/3. And this also has charge plus 2 CV/3. If I change the separation between these plates here by distance d. Will the charge change is the question. Now think and answer. Anybody would like to answer? Will the charge change or remain same?
So like the charge on the two opposite plates should always be same, right?
Yes. So what when this is a charge here, this has passed 2 CV by 3. This is minus 2 CV by 3. This is plus 2 CV by 3. And this is minus 2 CV by 3. Can these two charges change here?
No, sir.
Can some charge flow from here to here or other way around? No. Why the charge will not flow? I think we had done something similar last time also. Why the charge will not flow? Can you recall why the charge will not flow? Anyone can recall? Why will the charge not flow?
So there's no way for the charge on the positive plates to change.
Correct. What will happen? These plates are isolated. Charge on this plate cannot change. And whatever charge this has, opposite charge per plate also has to have same charge. So even if they are connected, as I change the separation here, the charge cannot flow. Charge has to remain constant. Because for charge to change, one charge cannot change unless the charge on the opposite plate changes, then only charge on this can change. So if it was forming a loop, yes, charge could have changed if I change the separation. But since the battery is connected, it means key is opened here. In that case, charge cannot flow. So do you recall this point? Yes, the charge will not flow. And in this case, if battery is disconnected, now can I calculate work done? Yes, I can calculate work done. And where would this work go when we do this work here? So when this case, when directory is taken out, battery is disconnected and plates are pulled apart. When plates are pulled apart, now I can calculate work done because charge is constant. Now I can use my standard formula. That work done will be equal to force of attraction into D. And force of attraction Q into sigma by 2 epsilon. That's how I remember the force equal to charge into field due to other plate into D. So we can again write that expression also. Q square by 2A epsilon into D. That's work done. Where would this work go? Will this work done will be lost or will it get the heat dissipated in the wire? Where would this work go?
In this case, it will be stored as potential energy, right?
This will be stated. This work will be equal to increase in potential energy stored in capacitor C. Increase in potential energy in capacitor C. Because there's no change in potential energy here. That's another way to derive what is the force of attraction. Yeah. Okay. So is this understood? Bhagyashree, have you followed this?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sure.
Like most of it, sir.
So have we done something similar last time? Does anyone recall some similar questions? There was some. I recall something like this. 3 capacitors were there, and some charge. What happens? One key is open, other key is not open. So this kind of question, all such questions depend on key point. What you have to keep in mind: charge on one plate alone cannot change. The charge on one plate has to change. Opposite plate also charge has to change. Then only the charge will take place, and that's the condition. So any questions involving work done and heat transfer, so these are things we can keep in mind. Okay. These are simpler questions. If a two conducting sphere radius r and 3r, this is r and 3r, this is a charge plus q and minus 2q. Initially, they are placed at large distance, and if they are connected by a conducting wire, if you connect by a conducting wire, charge flow will take place. Can we calculate what is the final charge and potential of all spheres? Can we calculate final charge distribution? What would be how would you calculate final charge distribution? The key point here is all 3 are conductors. If they are connected by a conducting wire, it becomes like one thing becomes like one conductor. So when we connect by wire, it becomes like a one common conductor, all connected together. And it is one common conductor. Any conductor has to have same potential. So we are just looking at property of the conductor also. If all conductors are connected together, so all three must have same potential. All three must have same potential. That's one way to understand. Second way to understand is the charge flow. Charge flow, positive charge, imaginary positive charge flows from higher potential to lower potential. So whenever we make connection, whichever is at a higher potential, the charge will flow. This is at a positive potential. This was at zero potential. This was at a negative potential. How should the charge flow? Charge, if I connect these two, charge will flow like this from here to here. Here zero is higher than negative potential. This potential here is what? What is the potential? V is equal to kq by r. So this potential of third sphere is negative. So how would the charge flow? Some charge will flow from here to here, and some charge will flow from here to here. And as the charge flows, this potential keeps coming down, this potential keeps rising, and this charge flow continues until they come to the common potential. The charge flow higher potential to lower potential. That's another way we can understand. There are three ways I'm going to discuss. All three ways let's understand. Higher potential to lower potential. Until they come to a common potential. So when they come to common potential, what would the charge distribution be? See, initially they are isolated system. Initial net charge was equal to the final charge also will be such that net charge will remain same, charge will be conserved. So net charge here, initial net charge is equal to minus Q. So final net charge also will equal to minus Q. So let's say this has charge of Q1, this has a charge of Q2, this has a charge of Q3. If these are the charges, potential have to equate the potential. If we equate the potential, first one potential is equal to kq1 by r equal to kq2 by 2r is equal to qq3 by 3r. So what we understand here, the charge gets distributed in proportion of the radius here. One way that's also we can understand. So charge will get distributed in the proportion of radius here. So it will get distributed. So this will receive 1/6 of the net charge. This will receive 2/6 of the net charge. This will receive 3/6 of the net charge. Net charge is equal to Q minus. This will become equal to minus Q by 6. This will become minus Q by 3. And this will become minus Q by 2. That would be the charge distribution. Can we also treat these three as three parallel capacitors? Can we think of three? First of all, do we know large distance? Do we know that each isolated sphere also is a capacitor? What is the capacitance of each isolated sphere? We get from this equation. C is equal to Q by V. So any sphere potential on a sphere is equal to KQ by R, or Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R. So C is equal to Q by V. So Q by V is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught R. Thus the capacitance of an isolated sphere. So all three have, this one has capacitance C. So I can treat this as a capacitance C1, this is capacitance C2, and this is capacitance C3. And if I had to tell you if they are all interconnected, can I consider them to be capacitors in parallel? If yes, why? So can these three be considered as parallel capacitors connected in parallel? Bhagishri, do you want to consider them as parallel or not?
Yes, sir.
Why?
At one side they're connected all together, and the other side we can think as they were grounded.
Grounded. And so basically, very good. So basically, see the number of ways you can think of. So whenever there's only one thing, so we have to always assume the second one is connected to ground. So one side they are grounded, and all other thing what we notice, all are at the same potential. And they are connected across identical potential point. One is potential P, and second type is grounding. And since they are connected across identical potential difference, we can treat them as a parallel capacitor. So we could have also thought of these three as a parallel capacitor. They are given a net charge of minus Q, and minus Q charge will get distributed in proportion of their capacitance. That's also we could have thought of. Third point we can think of, this is the charge. We can also think of what is the charge density, sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3. Charge is in proportion of radius, but charge density will be equal to charge divided by square of the radius. Charge density is inversely proportional to R. That property also will keep in mind. So wherever curvature is more, radius is smaller, charge density, surface charge density will be higher. So that is also we can understand from this question. Non-conducting infinite plane sheet having charge distribution. These are non-conducting infinite plane sheet. What is electric field intensity at A, B, and C? Can we calculate electric field intensity at these points here if they are non-conducting infinite plane sheet? And moment this charge distribution is given, even without this word also, we could have figured out this is non-conducting. How else we can figure out it is non-conducting? Is there a way to figure out they are non-conducting? Can we conclude they are non-conducting? What basis can we, even without this word also, we could have said this is non-conducting? Is there a way to tell? Yes, if they were conducting plates, on the outermost surfaces, charge has to be equal. Moment I see the charge is not equal, it is cannot be conducting plate. And second, if they are conducting plate on opposite faces, the charge has to be equal and opposite, which is also not the case. So this do not follow. So I'm just reminding, if parallel conducting plates are there, two outermost surfaces have charge equal to net charge divided by 2, and opposite faces have equal and opposite charge. So that also we should keep in mind. So when we have to calculate field at this point, it is equivalent to 4 charge sheet. One, this sheet, second sheet, third sheet, and fourth sheet. So it is, let's see, for point A, if I focus only on point A, I can draw, these are the first 4 sheet charge. This is first sheet charge. This sheet charge has total charge of 2q by 3. Or I can say sigma 1 is equal to 2q by 3a, area of the plate here. Second sheet charge on the right side of A. Third sheet charge also on the right of A. And fourth sheet charge also on the right of A. So when we have this sheet charge, the field due to these 3 charges, what are these charges? Q by 3, Q by 2, and 3Q by 2. Field due to them is all of them, if the charge is positive, it is independent of distance. Since field is independent of distance, I can combine all 3 sheets together. So rather than taking 3 sheets, since all are on the same side, I cannot combine these two. They are on the opposite sides. But all sheets with the same side, I can replace them with one sheet having a charge equal to sum of these 3 charges. So I can combine these 3. So it will become to Q plus Q by 3. It will become to 4Q by 3. So it is equivalent to, for purpose of calculation of field at A, it is equivalent to one side we have a charge of 2Q by 3. Other side we have charge of, sorry, this is okay, 2Q plus Q by 3. 2Q plus Q by 3. Thus the charge on other side, which will become equal to 7Q by 3. So this is the, so we calculate what is the field here, and these two fields will be opposite. If this is sigma 1 and this is sigma 2, and they are in the opposite direction, hence net field will be equal to sigma 2 minus sigma 1. If I take this direction of field is divided by A into 2 epsilon naught. That will be the field. Because this is not a conducting plate, so hence I have to use sigma by 2 epsilon naught. And what is sigma 2? Sorry, sigma by 2 epsilon naught. And we can write as 7Q by 3 minus 2Q by 3 divided by 2 into A into epsilon naught. That's the field at A. What will the field at B? Field at B also, I can combine these 2 charges together. I can combine these 2 charges together. For field C, this is one side. These 3 charges can be combined together. So that's it, the only point we wanted. This is an important point in this question. Whenever we calculate field at a point, the position of the charge or distance of the charge from the point C is immaterial. We can combine into one and calculate the field here. Another one like this, and this also pretty simple. Whenever it is like this, whenever any of the plate is grounded, net charge becomes zero. So this question also solve, but we don't have enough time to go through this. Try and solve this question as well. If it is not grounded, key point is how the charge distribution takes place. Net charge is 160 plus 30 is 190 microcoulomb. Half of the net charge will come on the two outermost surfaces, and then we can distribute charges. Moment we ground any of the plate here, if the initial charge, net charge is equal to plus 190 microcoulomb, on grounding it becomes zero. So how much charge will flow? So this charge here. So the charge, once if I ground only one of them, the charge flowing from this plate to the ground will be equal to 190 microcoulomb. Or if not that much charge flows into, the charge on this plate will become equal to minus 130 microcoulomb. If only this plate is grounded. If this plate is grounded, the charge will flow from here. If both are grounded together, one more condition comes into play. The potential difference from here to here becomes zero. So from here to one side, rise in potential and fall in potential, both have to be equal to zero. That is parallel plates. So let's stop here. So just go through the same, and so some of the important points of capacitor we are done.